Hi, I'm Jamie Hansen, graphic artist here at the Anderson County Museum. I'm also a visual artist and calligraphy enthusiast.
And I'm Josh Johnson, museum aide here at the Anderson County Museum. I assist in cataloging, transcribing, and research.
Josh and I wanted to share a few tips with you for reading historical documents.
It's always important to wear gloves or wash your hands when handling a document. When transcribing, make sure you protect the original to the best of your ability. If you do not have gloves available, at least wash your hands and dry them fully before handling the piece. Avoid touching the ink and store your originals in a cool, dry place away from light and pests. I'd also encourage purchasing acid-free or archival quality storage materials.
Becoming familiar with the individual's handwriting is one of the most important parts of this process. Before you start to actually transcribe, it helps to read through at least a few paragraphs. This will allow you to locate patterns in the handwriting and understand the subject matter and give you a direction in the event that you are stumped on a single word or a phrase.
It is easy to invest lots of time in trying to decipher one difficult word. Instead of getting bogged down, try moving past the word and returning to it after becoming more familiar with the writer's style and the body of text as a whole. This may help you realize if a word has been hyphenated or continued on a different page as well. You can also use words you've already confidently deciphered to match letter shapes in other words. This may give you enough information to infer the remainder of an otherwise indistinguishable word. It's also important to watch out for combination letters in very stylized script. Many writers used to combine certain letters, especially pairs of letters, into one character that may or may not resemble the originals. For instance, you may see a character that looks like a lowercase f or a lowercase p that is actually an S or a double S. These characters are easier to spot the more you become familiar with an individual's handwriting.
Writers in the past, just like today, have differing levels of education. This means that you should be aware that there's a possibility of misspelled words, grammatical errors, and even phonetic spellings that reflect different accents or dialects.
Sometimes spellings are not incorrect, they're just different. English spelling was not standardized until the 18th century. Some of these spellings and even words themselves might be regionally specific. There are also many words that have fallen out of popular use or whose meanings have changed over the centuries. A simple Google search can usually help shed light on these words and their historic meanings.
If you find yourself bogged down on one particular word or phrase, step away for a little while. Our minds can occasionally get locked into a framework that can be relaxed when you turn your attention to something new and then return later with fresh eyes.
It can also help to ask a friend for assistance in deciphering a tough word. Different people have different experiences with reading script, so it is possible that a word you struggle with might jump out to them. Plus, they can check work that you've already done. Lastly, don't be afraid to say that a word is illegible. The goal is always to fully transcribe a piece. However, it is unrealistic to think that this is always feasible. Some handwriting is so poor that certain words will be downright impossible to read, and that's okay. It's also not uncommon for sections of a document to be missing, especially if they have been damaged by water, light, insects, or rodents. This is why proper storage is so important. The most important thing you can do in transcribing and reading these historic pieces is have fun.
Thanks for listening to our tips today. Be sure to follow the Anderson County Museum on social media and visit us online at andersoncountymuseum.org to hear more videos and stories that celebrate Anderson and South Carolina.